It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Xavier head volleyball coach, Christy Pfeffenberger. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in college coaching?
I love and hate this question because I didn't know. Everybody else around me knew. I just love the game of volleyball, and it's just every team I was on, I was already naturally talking about different things we can run or where we can line up to make things better for, harder for our opponents. And so every coach I ever had told me I should get into coaching. So that's one day I said, well, I don't really know what else to do with my life, so I'll try college coaching.
What was it like going to Daytona to play volleyball?
So I was at Dayton. Dayton University, or University of Dayton is where I played. It was great. It was a great experience. Again, kind of fell into it and things, work out the way they're supposed to. And it was an amazing experience and something we're very, I'm very proud of, and my teammates, of building the program to what it is, helping it build up to what it is today.
What were some of your accomplishments at Dayton?
I don't know. It's on my bio. The one that matters the most to me is, we were the first team to make it into the NCAAs in program history, and we did it. The 2 years, 2 of my 4 years I was there, and I believe all but 1 year since then they've gone to the NCAAs. So that to me is the best accomplishment because. Because of what we did, the coaches were able to bring in other recruits to carry on the legacy there.
What was it like putting on that Dayton college jersey?
Just like it's a great feeling. Every student athlete who puts on their jersey, to represent something bigger than themselves. It's the same. It was the same exact feeling. You don't really know it until you get to do it, and once you realize that you're playing for those that came before you and those that come after you, it's exciting. Like I said, you're playing for something bigger than yourself, and that's for any student athlete across the country, no matter what level they play.
What was it like, obviously, getting started in college coaching and getting a job at your alma mater, Dayton?
I was very fortunate because I was also student teaching at the time. So I was very fortunate for them to allow me the opportunity to be a student assistant, to get my feet wet and realize what happens on the other side of practice, what happens outside of the gym.
Of course, what was that transition like from going from being a player to getting into college coaching at your alma mater?
It was rough. Thankfully, I had already, thankfully we had a really young team my senior year. We actually there's only 3 upperclassmen, 3 of us, juniors and seniors, and the rest were younger. And so during my senior season, I had to kind of take on that leadership role and kind of bringing along the younger groups. And so it wasn't like I was coaching my best friends. It was, I was already coaching those. I was coaching my senior year, or helping coach, but it was harder because we had to kind of draw that line between I'm your teammate and now I'm part of the coaching staff. But yet I'm very thankful for all those players who are on that team because they respected me in that sense and they didn't put me in any rough situations. And, the coaching staff did a great job of just giving me little nuggets to be in charge of, not anything, on a grand scale, so just helped me get my feet wet.
What was it like getting your job at Youngstown State as the assistant coach?
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking. Up at Youngstown State, a part of this Ohio I'd never been, never even heard of, honestly, before the head coach at the time got the job. but it was nerve-wracking because it was my first real, big kid job, I guess. And I didn't want to screw it up. And plus I had known Joe for a while, so I didn't want to let him down. He took a chance on me. But I kind of framed it in the mindset that I continue to get to do something that I love, or be around a game that I love, and get to travel around to see my friends while I go recruit. And so why not give this a go for a little bit and see what it's all about?
How was it like the first time you went to Xavier to become the assistant coach and then obviously become the associate head coach?
Yeah, what a lot of people don't realize is back then, Xavier and Dayton were in the same conference in the Atlantic 10. And so that was probably a harder move than me becoming an assistant at my alma mater, only for the sake that I was the enemy. Coming into the rival school to be their coach, to be an assistant coach. I was the rival who is now like, why would they trust me, and a lot of pride got in the way. But then over time, so I was thankfully I didn't have to coach anybody that I played against. That too many years had passed by that thankfully didn't happen, because I don't think that would have gone over very well. But we're friends now today. All those girls that I played against, I feel like we have a respectful relationship, and they're very supportive of the program now. And we realize it's more, there's more to life than a rivalry. But it was challenging, a program that was a little bit more, I don't know, further along in their history at Xavier and in their success. And so I felt the pressure to make sure we're bringing in players to carry on the tradition that was here and make it better. And then I was thankful I had the opportunity to grow into an associate head coaching role, just more responsibility, and trying to learn a little bit more. Those responsibilities came a little bit more time management issues, I guess, and where we had to make sure that we're still getting everything done and bringing in my sole responsibility though was recruiting. And so, yeah.
What was it like, obviously, leaving Xavier to go to Notre Dame in the ACC?
It was great. It was great. Not the leaving part, but the growth part. It was great. Had an opportunity to go to a bigger conference, a Power 5 conference, a football conference, which I had never been a part of ever. So it was a great opportunity, and what I'm always thankful for, and the growth that I was able to have, and kind of that reassurance that I was doing the right things that got me that job.
How has it been like, obviously, going from the Big Ten to the ACC to back to the Big Ten?
So, like I said before, the Xavier was part of the Atlantic 10 conference. Then so I went from the Atlantic 10 conference to the ACC. Sorry. The timing is funky here. So I went from the Atlantic 10 conference to the Big East conference when Notre Dame was in the Big East conference. During my time there, the Big East turned into, or the Notre Dame broke off to join the ACC. So I was part of the Big East conference, and then I was part of the ACC conference while I was at Notre Dame. And then when I came back to Xavier, they were part of Big East. So 3 different conferences and 2 schools, and 3 years. So it was interesting to be a part of all that, and to know what all goes into changing of conferences, and the money, and television contracts that go into it all. But like I said, the football was the big piece of it. ACC is football, Big East is basketball. That's what the conferences prioritize, and so it's always been intriguing to hear how the business works.
What were some of your accomplishments at Notre Dame during your time?
We had a few all-conference players and All-Americans during my time there, but that was pretty much it. I feel like my best accomplishments came after I left, when some great recruits were able to really excel at their time at Notre Dame, even though I wasn't able to coach them. They were tremendous individuals, and some that I still to this day regret not being able to coach, but they are in charge of their own destiny, and they did a great job, and they have a lot of legacy that they left.
Of course, in 2014, what was it like to come back to Xavier to become the associate head coach again?
It was challenging. I was actually pregnant with my second daughter at the time. So I was thankful I got a job. To come back with Mike was refreshing. He was the head coach at the time. It was refreshing because I think him and I had gone through some rough patches, but really grew to respect one another. And I respected him as boss. And I was very thankful for him offering the job to me. And then it was exciting too, because I got to coach players that I had recruited before I left. So that was fun to see. And then I got to coach the players that he had recruited after I'd left.
What was it like in 2015 whenever you became the head coach?
I didn't want to come into the head coach's office for a while because I spent so much time in the assistant coach's office, and that was just weird to come take someone else's chair. People, two bosses that I had respected very much and who meant the world to me. That I didn't feel as if I deserved to be in their shoes and to take over some things that they had built. So it was very challenging to move over into the coaching role. And then to create, for the first time being a head coach, to take over, we were successful, but then to put my own twist on it, my own spin on it, and how to manage a program. I've definitely gone through the bumps and bruises of it all, but I love every single player that's gone through here because they have made me better and better every single year. And so I definitely respect them for that.
Of course, since 2015, what has it been like to become a head coach and obviously run a program?
Exhausting. There's a lot of decisions that need to be made that before head coach I didn't care about, if that makes sense. I just had to uphold standards. I had to uphold the rules that were put in place, and then I could be the liaison and kind of support the players if they were struggling or if they were not understanding something from the head coaches. And I really, really enjoyed that role. And I wanted to be a different head coach where I could still be supportive of the players, but yet create those rules. And you don't get to do that. Someone's got to be the bad guy, and someone's got to make all the rules and the decisions that no one else cares about, but they may not see, but they are affected by it. They may not care about the actual decision, but then yet as the ball rolls, they're definitely affected by those decisions. And learning to live with the decisions that are made and how to communicate why decisions are made, even though people don't see the full picture, has definitely been the biggest challenge. I just want to coach volleyball.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you have helped build upon, obviously taking over as head coach?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you have helped build upon after taking over as head coach?
Yeah. I like to think that we've created a real family here. This program isn't meant for everybody in the sense that I'm like, you're going to be part of this. You don't just get to be a student athlete and come here just for the academics. I want everybody bought in on what we're doing, and everybody has a voice. But I've really thought that we become a family and that we have a trusting and honest relationship amongst the staff and the players and player to player and whatnot. So it's been an exciting culture, and it's constantly evolving and growing because culture is what you put into it. You don't walk in and say, these are the rules and that's our culture. Culture is constantly evolving and constantly growing. And if you're not, then you don't have a good culture, in my opinion.
What does a typical volleyball match look like playing for Xavier, and who are some of your opponents you face?
Yeah, so the Big East, everybody would probably understand Big East basketball a little bit better because they have very, very good teams going from on the East Coast with Villanova and St. John's, Seton Hall, Georgetown, Providence, and UConn. And then over in the Midwest, we have Creighton, Marquette, Butler, and DePaul and Xavier. So those are our main opponents every single season. And then we definitely play some local opponents like Cincinnati and Miami. Northern Kentucky every now and then. We try to stay local in that sense as well each season. Our matches for some reason are long, but they're fun and exciting in that sense. And we've come a long way in our competitiveness and how we uphold the standard of play on the court. So I think they're fun. I think they're exciting. Our crowds have grown and grown. Our marketing department has done a great job, but then I feel like we have to put a product out there that people are staying for.
What is it like, obviously, getting to play Villanova and some of your other teams that are always competitive each year?
It's exciting and what's the best word? Frustrating and exciting all at the same time. You definitely want your conference to grow and continue to get better because we're not a Power 5 school, but yet we, in my opinion, have the talent level that's just as good as a lot of the Power 5 conferences. I don't think we are top heavy. I definitely respect Creighton and Marquette. They've done a fantastic job with their program, but then you have programs like UConn and Butler and Villanova. In any given year, St. John's and Seton Hall, who have done a fantastic job of developing their programs and are getting better and better every single season. And then you have Providence and Georgetown, who, if you're not playing your A game, they're going to come through and beat you. And they do that to multiple programs in the conference every single season. So you can't there is no off day. Just like, I think the best volleyball conference is the Big Ten. They don't have an off day either, as far as competition goes. And it's the same in the Big East. And I don't think we're RPI wise, we're top heavy. But competitively, we are strong from the top to the bottom. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day.
Of course,
and that's what you want. That's what you want in a conference. So,
of course, what is the recruitment process look like for prospective student athletes looking to play volleyball?
Anywhere from sending coaches your schedule to videos to phone calls, having your club coaches or high school coaches reach out on your behalf. And then once we kind of know about you or we see you at a tournament, that happens a lot. You're just walking around recruiting, you see a player, got to go ask about them, and then you start to learn more about them. So anywhere, it can be a slew of ways to be seen or be known. If there's any school out there that a student athlete's highly interested in, you got to send your information to them or have somebody contact them on your behalf. That's the best way to go about it. Don't take it up for luck. But then there's a lot of phone calls, a lot of watching, a lot of emails, and a lot of visits that go into the recruiting process. It's definitely something that's not taken lightly. I think there's a lot of transfers right now, which is teaching the younger recruits to take their time and to make sure that they're getting it right the first time so they don't have to go through the transfer process, which I think that's what any freshman now who is recruited in their sophomore year of high school is going through right now. They're freshmen and they're transferring. Or they're sophomores, juniors, and transferring, and then there's with the COVID years and they're transferring, and so it's challenging right now for anybody in any sport, honestly.
What does a typical official visit look like for the volleyball side on, of course, for Xavier?
Yeah, we don't, because we don't have football, we usually try to get our official visits to a basketball game. So that's what Xavier is about. That's what Xavier is known for, and that's our best environment we can provide. You walk around the campus and have them meet their professors and have them meet the team, hang out with the team, hopefully come to a match, come to a practice, basically show them anything and everything that they would experience during their time here. We don't hide anything. We like to take them out on official visits to different restaurants in the area or drive them around so they get to see that it's more than just a school. Downtown is a 5-minute drive, and there's so much to offer in Cincinnati downtown that it's very important that they see that as well. But yeah, it's about the people, and it's about their experience, what their experience will be like when they're here.
Of course, on the official visit, do they get to see that Xavier blue volleyball jersey and get to try it on and obviously feel if they're at home with Xavier?
Yeah, now that they allow us, we do kind of like a media day with our visits, where they take pictures in the jersey. So they kind of get to feel like they're part of the team.
What advice would you give high school athletes looking to play college volleyball?
To stay patient, to learn how to work hard, and I think there's I think it's challenging for a lot of high schoolers in this day because there's so many opportunities to play and so many teams that they can play on, that they allow them just get to start and play so much, and then they get them to college and they have to work for that play time. So to continue to stay patient with themselves and make sure that they get 1% better every day. That's the biggest part, and that's what coaches like to see.
What advice would you give college volleyball players looking to get into coaching volleyball like you did?
That's a great question. I don't think I've ever really thought about what to tell them. You have to be passionate about it. You have to be passionate about the game and about coaching, and it's not about you, it's about the players. And you have going from a player to a coach. As a player, it's all about me, right? And my team, my play time, my stats, my team stats, like the wins and losses. I mean, in the moment when you're a coach, you must have to take a step back, and you're just creating the path for them to walk down. And it's about them following that path and how quickly they follow that path. And no one really cares about you as the coach. It's about them. And I think that's hard. A hard lesson is just like being an older sibling. All of a sudden it's not about you anymore. It's about your younger siblings and making sure that they're, you can't always tell them the answer. I have kids right now, and we ask the younger one a question and the oldest one answers. It's like, I know you know the answer. I'm trying to teach the younger ones now. It's the same thing with coaching. I know you know the answer. You want to be a coach, but now it's about your players finding out the answer and what lessons they're learning.
What advice would you give future and current coaches looking to coach college volleyball?
I think a lot of us are exhausted after this past year. I encourage everybody to take a break, but remember why you got into coaching and to continue to push. I think volleyball is on the brink of something great, and I don't think we can lose momentum right now. And I say that as a standpoint nationally, and get in there with basketball and soccer's and how they've grown across the country. I think we can definitely find some more equality for volleyball and become a very popular sport across the country, not just in the pockets that it is, whether that's TV, whether that's opportunities post-graduation for players to keep playing. We're on the brink and towing in on something fantastic. And I would hate to see some current coaches give up because they're tired of it, that they've done the legwork, then maybe wrap their arms around someone else to pass the torch or keep going, because I think good things are about to happen.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the Xavier Volleyball Programmer?
With Xavier Volleyball, we are, that's a great question. I think Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Xavier Volleyball. That's or XUVB. And then myself, I'm only on Instagram as UDPEF. I don't know, probably not the best program name. But yeah, follow Xavier Volleyball for sure. Xavier Volleyball at Xavier Volleyball on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Thank you again, Coach Kristen, for your interview, and best of luck in your future as you begin your career as the head volleyball coach.
Thank you so much for your time.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Kristen, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Great. Thank you so much.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.